Is that Ace? Are you here too, Ace? Oh, okay. My phone's telling me that the orientation is blocked again like it did last time. Locked, sorry, not blocked. But I think it's okay. I think it's okay if you think it's okay. How are we? Hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? I'm just doing up my boots. Is the chat working? Hang on, let me have a look here. Have I turned the chat off? No, I haven't turned the chat off, but hi Joy. TD Knives, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. Let's have a look and see who we've got. We'll have a bit of a sit down here. Sharon Sylvester, hello. I hope you're having a good day and enjoying your week off. Wouldn't you know it, the sun hasn't been out all day. And as soon as I sit here, the sun comes out, which is great. Don't get me wrong, the sun is great, but I end up with all these little weird sunspots all over me. And you may be able to tell from the beanie and the jumper, it's actually a bit of a cold day so far. Of course, now the sun's out, anything's possible. How are you all today? This is our fourth Thursday afternoon live, where we have a little bit of a play in the garden and talk about other things too, of course. You may see from the thumbnail that we do have other things to discuss today. Good evening, Susan. My name's Sharon. Oh, well, welcome in, Sharon. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay, thank you. We decided to go into town yesterday. We don't go into town all that often. The beanie needs a giant pom-pom. Look, I do have some beanies that have giant pom-poms on them, but you know, if I had a pom-pom on every beanie, I don't think I'd appreciate the pom-poms as much. I like the colors of this one. You see, it's got some, I mean, there is a bit of green and blue in there, but I really love autumn tones, and there's a lot of autumn tones in this one. So, and it is autumn here in Australia, so I thought I would wear my autumn toned beanie because it's autumn. But I do have ones with pom-poms, and as the lives and the year progresses, you will see them. Trust me, you will see them. So let's see what's been happening. Well, this day last week, I think it was this day last week, yeah, after my live, I think it was my Thursday live, our fridge packed in, and it's a big double door one. And my neighbor, who is a bit of a tinkerer, he came up and had a play, and he's managed to fix it a few times over the years, but this is not one of those times. So we're without a fridge, and of course I can't afford to buy a new fridge. Giant pom-pom, not sure how I found your channel. Hang on. Not sure how I found your channel, perhaps through Growing Food or maybe Brun Free. Yes, Brun Free are an awesome channel, and maybe through Growing Food as well. Recently made 500 pairs of earrings. Oh my god, that is a lot of earrings, my love. So yes, we lost some of the food, but we managed to save probably 80% of it. And I've turned on the little camp freezer and things like that. So a lot of the stuff that was in the freezer we managed to save. But in the meantime, we still don't really have a fridge. So we thought we would go into town and have a look at a couple of the electrical stores there to see what they had available. And as you sort of expect, if you go into an electrical store, the prices are absolutely astronomical, and I can't afford any of those. So, but we went in. I got a couple of gift vouchers at Christmas for like food and fuel and stuff like that. So I thought, what the heck? So we fueled up the car, and we got a couple of handfuls of groceries, and we got a pizza, and we were probably 3/4 of the way home, and we were passing probably the only house on the drive home. It's about a 45-minute drive for us to get from town to home. We passed the only house, and just as we passed it, there was this awful smell, like a really awful smell. And I looked at my daughter, and my daughter looked at me, and we're still like, well, what the heck was that? But then we kept driving, and the smell disappeared. And in the end, we thought, well, maybe it was something that was going on at that house. We've passed this house, there was a smell, maybe they were doing something, you know, burning something off or doing something of that nature, and the smell was from there. That's what we were thinking. Curious to know why I don't have a fridge. Well, no, I do have a fridge. It's just that it broke down. And I've got a little bar fridge, but it's not holding quite everything. But no, look, it'll work. I mean, the fridge that we had was a huge one, a huge 2-door thing, fridge freezer. I've got spare freezers. I've got 2 spare freezers, so that's why we managed to save 80% of the frozen goods. But in terms of having a big fridge, we've got a little bar fridge, but it just didn't take everything that we needed. So we saved most of the stuff. But we do need something bigger, and preferably something that's in the house, not way out in a shed somewhere too, is always a bonus. $20 a pair. Okay, oh, we're talking earrings. Okay. Northern Girl Hobbies is here as well. Welcome in. Mental Raccoon Glass, welcome in also. So yeah, so the smell came, the smell went, everything was good, and we kept driving, as you do. And the car sounded okay. It was nice and quiet, and the temperature gauge wasn't going up, and there was no lights coming up on the dashboard to say that there was any sort of problem. And so everything was fine. And we were probably driving about another 15-20 minutes. And then we got into part of the mountains, because we're in the mountains. So we're driving through the mountains, we're climbing the mountains, and during that phase of the journey, you have no reception, no phone reception. So anyway, we couldn't call anyone or anything. And then smoke started coming out from around the bonnet. And we had to drive about another minute before we could find a spot to pull off, because you've got a sheer drop on one side and a cliff on the other, a cliff wall. So you got wall, road, sheer drop off. So anyway, we managed to find somewhere to pull over. There was a car that was about a minute behind us, and we waved them down, and we asked them to call the fire brigade. But of course that meant that they had to then drive off, because where we had stopped in that part of the mountain, there is no reception for your cell phone or your mobile. So anyway, we did that, and they took off and they called the fire brigade, and then they came back to wait with us. Hello there, Mike. How are you? Now, I'm just having a look here. Is Sharon Rowland, are you really using my chat to sell your earrings? All right, thank you very much, Ace. Sharon Rowland, you better subscribe and like the video now. Hello, Brooke Trout, welcome in. So anyway, so they came back, they'd gone and called the fire brigade, they came back. Now what I didn't do was lift the bonnet of the car, because I figured, well, if there's something happening under there and I lift the bonnet, the air will get to it and it could escalate into something worse. So I left the bonnet down. There's like smoke coming out from around the bonnet. The people came back, they're waiting with us, and about 10 minutes or so later, the fire brigade turned up. Thank you, Sharon. I do appreciate it. So anyway, the fire brigade turned up, and we're all standing there, and they've got their smoke extinguishers and everything, and they opened the bonnet, and if there was a fire there, it had clearly gone out, and you could smell it. Like as soon as the bonnet went up, you could smell it. But they couldn't work out where the fire had actually originated from. Like looking at the top of the engine bay, everything was looking sort of okay. The windscreen and the side windows of the car, because the smoke had been coming out, and of course we had slowed down, but we had to drive a little distance before we could get to a spot where we could safely pull over. And the smoke had been going down the sides of the car and up the windscreen, and as it had cooled, the smoke had condensed, so there was this like brown sticky residue on the windows. And of course everyone had to like put their finger in it and have a smell and go, oh yes, you know, that's plastic, or that's rubber, or you know, it's electrical. In the end, no one could really truly work out what had caused the problem and where all the smoke had come from. And there was a fair bit of smoke. It was very concerning, and it really smelled, and it was quite scary too. I mean, you don't know if your car's just going to blow up or what's going to happen. So anyway, the guys and gals from the fire brigade said, right, let's start her up and see what happens. So we started the car, and again, it was purring along beautifully and quiet. There was no knocks or bumps or hisses or spurts, or not making any noises to indicate that there was any sort of problem at all. It was just purring along beautifully. There was no smoke, there was no flames. It was fine, absolutely fine. You could smell it. Like we were still all getting that incredibly strong electrical smell, which wasn't at all comforting, let me tell you. Let me just make sure I've got everyone. Oh, Ace, you're doing everyone's links again. You're such a good girl. Everyone should thank Ace. Ace is such a wonderful person. Thank you so much. Yeah, see, Ace, Brooke Trout says you're the best. He knows. Northern Girl also says you're the best. Mike says you're the best. Everyone thinks Ace is so awesome, because you are, Ace. Truly you are. So where are we in the story? Okay, we got the car running, and we let it run for about half an hour. Luckily I'd fueled up when we were in town, so we could do that. And it ran and it ran, and we revved it and it ran, and we put on the air conditioner and it ran, and it was fine. We tried everything electrical. We put the radio on, we ran the aircon, we put the windows up and down, we used everything to try and trigger something to happen while the fire brigade was still there. Nothing did. And they said, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to tow it into town? And I said, well, I can't really afford to tow it into town. And even if I do tow it, I can't really afford a mechanic at this point because I've got to buy a fridge. So we decided that we would try to limp the car home. It seemed to be running okay, very slowly. And the fire brigade decided that they would follow me, which they did. And we drove home incredibly slowly. The fire brigade followed us all the way back to the property, all the way up the drive, till I got the car to the garage, which is where it is now. And my neighbour, who's a bit of a tinkerer, the same one who keeps fixing my fridge when it normally breaks down, he came up and had a look. And also he wasn't able to find anything really obvious. So unfortunately, the only way I think I'm going to solve this is to take it for another drive and see if it happens again. And I'm not really looking forward to that. Yeah, it was really quite scary. It was quite scary. I mean, the amount of smoke that was coming out from underneath my bonnet. And I just don't know what it was, and no one else can tell me what it was either. So, and you know, during all of that too, while we were waiting for the fire brigade, when it first happened, we emptied everything out of the car, put it on the side of the road, or, well, yeah, where we were parked. We put it well away from the car, so if the thing suddenly went up in flames, at least we wouldn't lose the contents of the car. And when we had made the decision to try and keep going on our journey, of course, things started getting put back into the car. And I was putting some things in the car, and some of the people who had stopped to help were putting things in the car, and my daughter was putting things in the car, and inevitably something gets missed. And wouldn't you know it, the pizza. Unbelievable. If ever there was a time I really needed a bought pizza and not a homemade one, it was last night. And did I have one? Absolutely not. So there you go. That is the story of the thumbnail, and the car, and the fridge, and the missing pizza. And I think that is very much worthy of a thumbs up. I hope it is anyway. Oh yeah, I've had my share of car trouble, but can't make any guess what that was about. No, and I can't either, Joy. No one can. Oh, thank you, Mike. Very much appreciated. Now let's see. Sharon Rowland has subscribed to Ace. Thank you very much, Sharon. Ace says she accepts $100 bills. You're all very welcome. Thank you so much, Ace, for doing all of that. Mike says, I've had a car caught on fire before, no fun. Now, what happened with you, Mike, when it happened with you? Was it under the dashboard, under the bonnet, under the car? I believe that YouTube channel from there will help you. That's from TD Knives. So yeah, it was under the dashboard, driving along when flames came up from under the dash. And what did you do, Mike? I mean, I'm assuming you pulled over incredibly quickly. Did you have a little fire extinguisher, and did you end up losing the car? I mean, what happened? Mike, my cousin's car caught fire a few weeks ago, says Sharon. That's no good. It's funny, when the fire brigade turned up, they said, oh yeah, this happens all the time. And I thought, my God, does it? I mean, obviously you hear about it, don't you? You do hear about it, but I didn't think it was that common. Heater, blower, maybe. Well, yeah. Yesterday was actually quite warm. I know today I've got all the winter woolies on. Today is not warm. Yesterday was warm, so on the way back I actually I did have the air conditioner on, but I had the cooling on. So maybe it was something to do with that. What a day. Especially when your car explodes. Oh no, Sharon, did it explode? Hello, Miss M is in the house. Miss M is saying hello. You've just missed the most fantastic story, Miss M, of how our car sort of caught fire yesterday on the way home. So you'll have to go back and watch that. I hope you're well, Miss M. Are you well? But today is Thursday. Oh, yes, ma'am, it did. I'm so sorry to hear that. Wow. Was everyone safe? I mean, it's a terrible thing to lose a car, but it's so much worse to obviously lose a life or be injured or something of that nature. So I do hope your cousin was all okay, were they, Sharon? Now we're going to go for a little bit of a wander. It's Thursday, yes ma'am, but she's not very happy camper. No, I can understand that. Did the cow come back? Yeah, it did. Oh, well, yes, no, it did. But I forgot to tell you because I was so caught up about the car. So we drove back with the fire brigade behind us, and we're coming up the drive. We're getting to the point where we're near the paddocks and you can see the house. And one of the driveway trees had come down over the fence, and some of my cows were in the driveway in front of the car. So then my daughter had to get out of the car. So like, we still haven't even got the car back to the garage yet. We're coming up the drive, the fire brigade are behind us. We're approaching the house. There's a tree down, there's a fence down, and all the cows are in the driveway. Not just one cow, there was a few of them. So yeah, we had to get the cows back in as well. So it was a long day. Hello, Louis. Welcome in. Oh, I see someone here. Who is that? Hang on, they're my sunglasses. I don't want those. How are you, Louis? Thank you very much. Aries World, I thought it was Aries World. Welcome in, Aries World. Please, if you haven't yet, please give the video, which is in fact live, a thumbs up. And you've got to watch the beginning. If you don't watch the rest of this live, you've got to at least watch the first 25 minutes, because I'm recounting this incredible story about how the car caught fire. Well, sort of caught fire, and how the cows escaped. So it was a very eventful day. It really was. But today is Thursday, and today is meant to be a garden day. So last week for garden day, we had a look at the space that is going to be, yeah, I know. The fire brigade had to follow us home, Aries World. It was really quite scary, and no one can really work out what the problem is yet, but hopefully we'll work it out soon, because I've got an appointment in like 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm not feeling totally happy about taking the car out, you can imagine. So yes, last week we were looking at seeds, and we looked at the space which is going to be the new veggie garden. I have been onto the fencer, and the fencer is, now this is the fencer is obviously going to be repairing where the tree came across the fence, but he's also going to be doing the fencing for the new veggie garden. Louis says, here in the United States in the Midwest, we have been having a lot of Is that tornadoes? Oh, that's no good. Hello, Uncle Bob. Chicken's Uncle Bob. Welcome in. How are you? We've just been talking about the fire that was in my car and the fridge that broke down last week, which is the reason why we were in the car, because we had to go, we went into town to have a look at a second-hand fridge that was up for sale. And on the way back, the car started to smoke. But actually, before we have a wander, no, actually we will have a wander. I'm getting distracted. Let's go and have a wander. There's a few people here who haven't been here before, like Sharon. And Louis has been here before, but have you seen the cows before, Louis? So I've got my other tripod because we're going to do a little bit of garden stuff, but not a lot of garden stuff. So I'm going to dump the tripod here, and let's see if we can find you some cows to look at. Where have they all gone? They were here before. Have you seen the cows before, Louis? I know Sharon Rowland wouldn't have seen the cows before. All right, let's have a look. Let's catch up with the chat. Aries World. All right, so Joy is saying 10 miles north of me, they had 4 inches of hail. So much damage. I was so lucky. Joy, I am so glad you were okay. Sharon is thanking Aries World. Thank you, Aries World. That is very good of you. Louis Fuller says, last night we were supposed to have really bad storms here in Texas, but thank goodness when the storms were here, they started falling apart and the severity level went down. I am very relieved, as are you, I am sure. Okay, let's have a look. Well, there's a view. The cows are scattered all over the place. Do you want me to call the cows down? I can, and then they'll all run up. Shall I call the cows? Oh, listen to that wind. I'll call the cows. No one's telling me to call the cows, but I'll call the cows. It is a lovely view, isn't it, Joy? Now, is that Chicken's Uncle Bob says, yes, I want to see them come running. Now, is that wind causing a big problem? I think the way I'm holding the phone, it shouldn't be hitting the microphone. All right, let's call the cows then. Louis saying, yes, thank goodness. Best thing to do is have a good NOAA weather radio with you. I don't even think we have those in Australia, you know. All right, let's call the cows down. Oh, once I've shown you the cows, Sharon, I'll show you some real scenery. All right, let's call them. Bonjour, Dot. Oh my God, what's happening to my voice? Bonjour, Dot. Bonjour, Coco. Ellie la file. Ellie la file. Now, the one I'm calling, who's Dot, is up there having a drink at the top hay shed. Now, once she hears me, she'll moo. And then once she moos, everyone who's scattered around the paddocks will all come running at the same time. That's the theory. But they may not be able to hear me properly for the wind either. Let's try it again. Bonjour, Dot. Bonjour, Coco. Elle est la file. I am losing my voice. Did you hear that voice crack? Oh, I heard a moo. Allez la file! Yeah, it is great, Sharon, especially when it works. Allez la file! Bonjour, Dot! Bonjour, Coco! They're making a liar of me. It's unbelievable. I know, we've got one cow coming from all the way down there. Not the regular one. Bonjour, Dot. Bonjour, Coco. Dot! All right. I think we got some things happening. I think the wind is blowing in the wrong direction for them to hear me well. Let's try going down here a little way. And I've still got to show Sharon Rowland. Actually, we'll look at a bit of a view first. We'll go back down this way. It's not the best view, I suppose, but it is a view, Sharon. Even if it's not the best view, it's a view. So that's the view from the front window of the house. Now we're going to have to go up this paddock to show you a really good view. So let's go for a little bit of a walk. But once we've gone for a little bit of a walk, I have a couple of plants that I want to plant there. Yeah, it's very windy. Is the wind interfering with the chat too much? Are you able to hear me properly? Whoops. All right. I've got so many things stuffed in my pockets at the moment. Walking, going past the woodshed. Wind, what wind? Really? You're not hearing it? Louis can hear me. Sharon loves the view. Thank you. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you can hear me anyway. That is a relief. So today's technically not meant to be a farm walk around day. How this works is I do a live in Australian time, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and every second Saturday. Tuesday is a farm walk around live, where we look at the views, talk to the chickens, talk to the cows, talk to the sheep, talk to each other, of course. Thursday lives are meant to be gardening lives, where we do something in the garden, but then this is only the fourth one. Can you see that, Sharon? You see the mountains over there? Hopefully it's not too glary. Oh, I do indeed. I am in the alpine region of Victoria, Australia. So we get snow here in winter. Bonjour, Dot. Hello there. How are you? Dot. Bonjour, Dot. Bonjour, Coco. Allez, la file. Now they're mooing. Oh. Bonjour, Dot. Bonjour, Coco. Now, normally I don't have a problem with walking through the paddock, but I'm actually going to head back because they are coming now. And the last few times that they've got this new habit of trying to eat my clothes. It can be very disconcerting walking while you've got a cow walking behind you and one's nibbling on your sleeves and another one's like trying to rip the arse out of your jeans. And the clothes I'm wearing just at the moment, I don't particularly want them to eat. So we're just going to get on the other side of the fence. Uh-oh, here they come. Hello, girls. Hello, girls. Hello there. How are you, Oreo? The black one there is Coco. That black one there. The white one over there. That one over there, that's the bull, Ernie. Hello, darling. This is Fione. Hey, Fione. Hello, darling. Hello. Hello. Oh, look at that tongue. Hello. What you doing? Whoops. Did you scare yourself? That black one there is Blaze. The brown one is my Jersey cow. She's meant to be the milk cow, but I let her dry out because we thought she was going to have a calf, and then she didn't have a calf. And so because I allowed the milk supply to stop, she has stopped. Right, that black and white one there with the white on its head, that is Penguin. No, it's not. No, yes, it is. It is. That's Penguin. Hello, darling. Hello, darling. Yes, hello. Hello. This is Pickles. Hello, Pickles. Oh, yes. No, you can't eat my phone. And then the calves. We've got some calves. They're just walking up. What breed? Okay. The brown one is the Jersey cow. The very big black cow, where is she now? When I bought the Jersey cow, I bought her as a house cow, and she had a calf with her. And that calf is that big black one over there. And so that black one there is half Jersey and half Dexter. All the others are British white. So they're meant to look like them. So they're white. They have black ears and a black nose. That one there, Tamara, isn't as dark, but and clearly you can get the odd one, like the odd black one can come through and the odd black and white, but your textbook British white should look like this girl here. Hey? Yes. And then we've got a calf up there with its mum, and we've got two more calves over here which I'll show you. That's not a calf, but that one there. And then we've got a little black and white one. And that is Domino. So Domino is, oh gee, when was Domino born? Are you still here, Mike? Can you remember how old Domino is? Animal lover, welcome in. How are you, my dear? They are beautiful cows. I love them too. You're in South Georgia, Sharon. Okay. Is it still cold there? So that's little Domino, that's a boy. This one here is, it's either going to be, well, considering if that's mum, then that has to be the firstborn. That was Clover, a little girl. And then there's another one which has wandered over the hill up there towards the drinking trough, another little boy, who is also like this one, like your perfect British white. I'm very well, animal lover. How are you? Have you been having a good week? So that is the cows. And since we're in the garden, and it is meant to be a garden day, let me show you this. Look at those lovely flowers. This is an Australian native plant called a kangaroo apple. And it's called a kangaroo apple because, do you see this leaf shape? It's the shape of a kangaroo's foot. So that's why it's called a kangaroo apple. And it has these little fruits on it, which you can see some here. You'll have to excuse the weeds. Let's see if I can bend down and show you. So you see these green fruit. Now they're not ready. You've got some there that are turning orange, and that's they're getting there. But if you eat them while they're still green like that, or even when they're that color, they're toxic. You really don't want to be eating those. They should get bright red, and once they are bright red, then you can eat them. So I'm very much looking forward to trying them. I have grown them before when I lived in Melbourne, when I lived in the city, but even though they flowered and they bore fruit, the birds tended to get to them. That's right. The birds tended to get to them before I did. So I never really got to try the fruit. So I'm going to be probably putting a bit of a cover over those. What's wrong, darling? What's wrong? Oh, there's the other calf up there. So, yeah. Lovely Australian native fruit. And it gets used in quite a lot of things, condiments and so forth. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of research to work out what we can do with it. All right, so let me catch up here. Just give me a moment. Sharon Rowland says, I wish I'd made it to hear Jimmy Carter's Sunday school lesson. 88 degrees here in South Georgia, hot today. What is my elevation? I am at 1,020 meters. Sharon says, oh no, JB, I didn't know about it until the last minute. Able to do it anyway. Had to have, oh, okay. Had to have emergency surgery, is that right? Am I reading that? Oh, that's no good. Well, I hope you're okay now, Sharon. So we've had a little bit of a farm day, haven't we? Even though it's not meant to be a farm day. But yeah, that's what I was saying, Sharon. So Tuesdays is farm day. So Monday in the Northern Hemisphere. Thursdays, which is today in Australia, is meant to be an in the garden type day, which clearly still has cows involved. And then every second Saturday I do a live, and that is, so the plan is I do a long form one Saturday, and the following Saturday I try and do a live. And the alternate Saturday lives is called Around the Kitchen Table, and I basically just sit inside. I have an indoor day, and sometimes that can involve doing the dishes, or having a cup of coffee, or eating a slice of cake, or like last Saturday where we actually made a batch of sweet chili jam live. And that was interesting because I'd never actually done a live cooking segment before, so it's a bit all over the place. Wasn't sure the best way to use the tripods and the phone and all that sort of thing, but you know, we got there in the end. I think we got there. Thank you so much, Ace, for that. Ace has put the it's 3,280 feet. Rushing Wind Mountain, hello, thank you so much. Thank you. I do hope you're well. Are you well, Rushing Wind? Trophy. Hello, neighbour. Just saw your post on the Tell Me page. All okay with the Subi? Yeah, look, I think so. But I mean, I really don't know for sure. We got it home. We drove very slowly, and there was no more smoke billowing out from underneath the bonnet, which is always a bonus, I find. I'm not a particularly big fan of having smoke and things coming out from underneath my bonnet while I'm driving through the windies, so I'm sure you can appreciate that. But we got it home. The fire brigade followed me up the driveway, which is very good of them. But I guess the problem is that they weren't really able to work out where it was originating from. And that's a little bit concerning. I mean, it's my only vehicle, so a bit of a worry in the windies. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I didn't have reception either, so I was very lucky. Like I smelt something. It smelt electrical, and it was a very strong smell, but then the smell disappeared. And we thought, oh well, you know, clearly it's nothing to worry about. We were passing like the only house that was in the area when the smell happened. And then of course we get into the windies proper, and the smell starts up again. And it was in that point in the windies where you've got a cliff wall on one side of you and a sheer drop on the other, so there was nowhere to pull over. So we just had to keep driving till we found a spot. Can highly recommend Rick's at TVs in town if you need it looked at. TVs. Okay, yep. Rodents, I don't know. Nicholas Grollo, where have you been? I have missed seeing you on my lives. I have had rodents before, eating the car. They love eating cars. I learnt that my very first winter here in this district. I found that when you take your car out and you put it back in the garage, you pop the bonnet, because rats like to make little homes in the bonnet, underneath the bonnet, because it's nice and warm. Now you guys don't call it a bonnet over there, do you? Under the hood. So yes, we pop the hoods to make the engine bay cool down more. So how are you, Trophy? Thank you very much for coming in. TV's Total Vehicle Solutions, yes. Thank you very much. Well, I may well do, but the whole reason I went into town was because I needed a second-hand fridge, and we never got a second-hand fridge. And I suppose I probably need to get the fridge sorted first. I don't go into town all that often. I don't need to. I don't need to go into town for anything. I might only go 2 or 3 times a year. But yeah, so we're meant to be doing a garden live, aren't we? We're meant to be planting things. So in terms of the garden, I showed you in the veggie garden last week, or where the new veggie garden is going to be. No, I didn't get a fridge. I couldn't afford them. I mean, we went and had a look in the electrical store, and I mean, I can't afford anything like that. But then we also had an appointment to have a look at a second-hand one, but the approximate measurements that I had been given were quite different to what it actually was when we got there, which is unfortunate, but look, it happens. Trophy says, I'm good, thank you. Just stumbled across your page. Beautiful property you have there. Your hat production is a lot better than ours. Shocker of a season this year. Yeah, I know it is. It's not the best, is it? But we're meant to be filming things. Well, we are filming things as such, aren't we? But we're meant to be planting things. That's it. So let's have a look at a couple of little plants that I have to plant. Ugh. I might have to put you down in the tripod, actually, in the other tripod, not the one I'm holding. So this here, because last week we were looking at the veggie garden, so this week we're looking at this one. Now this is meant to be a beautiful flower bed, but it's really quite, you know, I'm time poor. I don't have a lot of time, especially in summer. You know, you have a flower bed with gardens. You've got to keep the water up. You can see how weedy it's looking. You've got to keep things deadheaded and pruned and all that sort of thing. So basically the fountain's staying, the weeping cherry is staying, and what the plan is to create a garden here, and it will go from there and it comes all the way around and it will basically end here. So it's sort of like a boomerang shape of sorts. And I want to plant things that have their interest in the foliage. So you've got something here which is weeping and green, and then we've got a little plant here which has lovely purple leaves and bright pink flowers. So I want to plant that somewhere, probably around, because this weeping cherry is about 15 years old. It's not going to get any bigger. So I was thinking about planting it pretty much about there. Now let me stand back and show you. Now that plant is, you can't see it very well, it is a, oh gee, how do I say that? Well, I'm not going to butcher it, but can you read that? That's what the plant is in the little purple pot. Now it says that it will grow to 1 meter high and 1.5 meters in width. So that's that. So 1.5 meters in width, but behind it I have another little plant which I'm probably going to have to dig up over winter, because unfortunately for this little plant a blackberry is coming up underneath it. But I've got this little cypress. Now for 10 months of the year this little cypress is going to be vivid green, a vivid yellow, a bright yellow. Now this cypress, like most cypresses, is very slow growing. So you've got to bear with me with the vision here. So we've got the big weeping cherry. Then behind it you're going to have a tall yellow cypress. That cypress gets to 1.5 meters tall and 1.5 meters wide. No, sorry, 1 meter wide. So the yellow cypress will be 1.5 tall by 1 meter wide. So if that's the case, one and 1 meter, so it should come out to about, yeah, okay. So if we plant that pot there, that plant, I reckon it'll be just in the right spot. And then that will spread by 1.5 meters. So they'll end up touching, it'll just touch the weeping cherry. It should just touch the cypress. So I want them to sort of touch each other so that they can smother the weeds underneath. I don't know if I've ever shown you under this weeping cherry. Under the weeping cherry. Woo, let's duck in under here. Isn't this fantastic? Look at this. My kids used to use this as a cubby house. But it's a lovely little spot and there's really nothing on the ground other than leaves. It's such a dark and beautiful spot to be in, but the tree smothers the weeds. And so these plants that I want to plant in this garden, I want the plants to grow to a point where they smother the weeds, and then I can put some mulch down. Oh, it's a lovely spot. Nicholas Grollo is saying hello to everyone. But wait, there's more. I have one more plant. But what I might have to do... Oh no, we can do this. We can do this. Let me get this other plant. Please excuse all the mess. I had a bucket of kindling sticks outside the door, but Gimli the fox has taken to playing with the sticks. You'll like Gimli. Oh, in fact, I've got a short coming out this afternoon. I haven't done a short for a few weeks, so I thought I'd better do one. So I've got a new Gimli the Fox short coming out. Now, let's have a look at this one. Look at that. What do you think, folks? Now let me just catch up with the chat a little bit, because I can see there's lots of chat going back and forth. Oh, Sharon's got to go. My sister needs help. Bye everyone. Super chat. Have a lovely rest of the evening. Susan, I love your place so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sharon. I hope you're still here and that you didn't miss me saying goodbye to you, but I hope you stay well and that your sister stays well and that your cousin can get over losing his car. I can completely understand. Lol, a fox playing on my porch. Oh, he does a lot more than play on the porch, let me tell you. Have you seen? Oh, he likes to run away with washing from time to time. Hello, High Plains Camper, welcome in. Is it a blue fern? No, it is a blue star, a beautiful blue-grey form of Colorado spruce, growing conical small tree developing horizontally layered branching with age. 1.5 meters high and 1 meter wide in 10 years. So, yeah, it's a spruce. And I wanted to get a blue spruce because I had a relative who passed away. Actually, it would be this week last year. And in his front garden, he had a full-size blue spruce. And after he passed away, they sold the family home. But I wanted to buy a blue spruce as like a memorial tree. So this is a dwarf blue spruce. And clearly as it ages, it's probably going to need a bit of pruning, but I thought I would buy this as a memory for him. So yeah, this is our blue spruce, folks. So we're going to try and plant that as well. So it's supposed to be, what did I say? It was going to be 1 meter wide in 10 years. Well, I should be able to keep it to that, shouldn't I? I've got to tell you one thing about this blue spruce, though. I don't know whether they're all like this, but my goodness me, is it spiky? Is it spiky? I mean, it actually hurts. It hurts to touch it. These things here, they're not going to get eaten by deer. So my friend who is in the same district as me, if you're still in the chat and you want a plant that deer can't eat, get one of these, because believe me, nothing will eat this. Absolutely nothing will eat this. What do you think? Is that going to be a good spot? Look at these pretty little... So then we have the yellow one there. We've got a purple one over here. Let's stand back and see what we think. Now, can you visualize? Can you visualize? So that one's going to be 1.5 meters tall by 1 meter. Same as that one though. They're going to look much the same, but different color foliage, aren't they? Gosh, there's so much to think about. And then I want to put some like weeping grasses and things in there as well. Helps, keeps pests away. Ah, the spruce does. Rushing Wind Mountain says, I knew it. We have lots of those around here. Love them and the smell. Oh, okay. They have a smell. Okay. Blocking the view from the porch. Well, there isn't. Let me go back to the porch. No. If I'm on the veranda and look, clearly everything's, I just let the garden go this year and then we brush cut it because I knew I was going to like totally change up what was there. But no, I mean, we've got the other trees here behind and the really good views are out the front. Oh, thank you, Nicholas. Now, High Plains Camper says, I just planted a bunch of arbor vitae evergreens in my yard. Did I butcher that name completely? But no, I don't think it would ruin the view there, Joy. I reckon it'll work. And yes, it would be a nice way to honour him. He was such a lovely man. He really was. Now let me just see. High Plains. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Nicholas. Where have you been, Nicholas? Did you have your friends visiting still? See, these are our little plants here. Well, they're little now, that we pruned last week. But let me show you a bit of the view. This is the front of the house, Joy, and this is where we get the good view from the veranda. Up the top part of the property, we get other views, but that's well away from the house. So where I'm standing right now, Joy, is in front of my lounge window. So this is my view from the lounge room window. Hang on. Arborvitae. Is that right? There's not really any reception up here, Nicholas. That's the problem. It's a mountain thing. It depends where I am on the property as to whether or not my phone will ring. So yeah, that's a lovely view, but the blue spruce will not bother it. So that's good. I'm so lucky to have beautiful views around here. And a wraparound veranda. Gosh, look at all the mess. This is all Gimli's doing, the fox. So pruned this the other day. Yes, that is hula hoop. I keep it to sort of keep me in check when I'm pruning. It's got a little bit burnt. I actually had a blanket over it in the really, really sunny times of the day, so it wouldn't get too burnt. Tomorrow I'm going to do that ring over there. But what do we think about the positioning? Maybe we should move it a bit closer. If that's going to go to 1 metre wide and that's going to go to 1 metre wide, they could actually go a bit closer. Or are they too similar in shape? I could put it here. Ugh. What do you reckon? Is that where we want to plant it? Nicholas thinks it's beautiful. Joy thinks it's beautiful. Arborvitae, yes, I think I've got it now. So we've got the vision. And then here I could put some grasses. You know, something that just gets like 1 metre tall. All right. Well, I will have to swap. But shall we attempt to plant them now? Or do you want to sit on the veranda and chat? I'll give you the option. I can do them now. Not Mondo. No, not Mondo grass, no. I know the one I want, I think. I mean, there's lots of beautiful grasses out there with sensational coloured leaves and foliage and so forth. But I don't really know the names of them all. But shall we attempt to plant a plant? I will need to take bedtime for me. Enjoy. Good night all. Thank you so much, Joy. I hope you sleep well. Actually, if I just have this on the ground, you can still see me, can't you? I think you can. All right, I'm going to run over to... No, maybe I won't. I'll do that. We'll put that there. And let's plant this little purple thing called Loropetalum. Does look very pretty, doesn't it? I bet the deer will like that though. In fact, I'm sure of it. Hello, Susan. Who's that? Someone saying hello. Kathleen. Is Gimli still being a pest? A little bit of a pest. Yeah, he is, Nicholas, unfortunately. Oh, I keep saying he, it's she. But yeah, a little bit. Eating things he shouldn't and destroying other things. Kathleen, I answered your question. You left a comment on one of my videos. I haven't received an email from you, Kathleen, even though you said you sent one. So if you're still there, maybe what I would recommend, because you've got me on Messenger, so maybe try getting me on Messenger, because that always seems to work, even though the email, sometimes emails don't seem to come through. I'm not quite sure why, but if you get me on Messenger, and then we can tee up that time to do a joint live, that would be awesome. Oh, you're going High Plains. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much. I hope you sleep well and you have a wonderful night. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button. That would be lovely. But yes, stay warm, stay safe, and sleep well. And let us plant one plant. We'll start with this little purple thing. And I reckon these are the stems from the hollyhocks. I flung them here so that they could drop their seeds everywhere. So for a start, we've got a blackberry. Oh wow. Alright, so get rid of that. Now I'm sure you're probably not really interested in soil, and I don't even know how well you can see it, but here we've got this lovely red earth. Can you see that at all? Probably can't really. But yeah, look at that beautiful red soil. Are you able to see me, or is it too glary? When I go over there, can you see me? Because it is looking very glary when I'm looking at it here. If it's too bright, we can go back to the veranda and sit and talk, because there's no point me planting these. Or no, there is. I can still plant them, but I don't want to like totally ignore you if you can't even see what I'm doing. 24 thumbs up, says 8. Hit the like button for Susan. Yay! 24. That's not too bad. Is it too glary if I go over there? I'm waiting for some acknowledgement. Guess we'll keep going. We're going to plant a plant. Okay. No one's answering me, so I'm going to plant a plant. Now somewhere in here too, I've got daffodils. We're going to dig a nice big hole, hopefully. It's typical, isn't it, that it was a beautiful overcast and cool day, and then as soon as I want to come out into the garden, it gets hot again. Okay, so that is a decent size hole, I think. Let me take you over so you're a little bit closer and you can see what I'm doing. And again, you can see that sort of red coloured earth. We're very lucky to have like volcanic type soil here. Where shall I put you? Where's the sun? If I put you, I'll put you there. Hang on. Let me catch up with the chat for a moment. Yes, Kathleen said she'll message me. Hi, Kate. Yes, we'll do. Kathleen saying thank you to Ace. Ace says you're welcome. Veranda. Oh, okay. Nicholas Grollo wants to return to the veranda. Leah. Is Leah here? Welcome in, Leah. Reed Jones. Welcome in, Reed. How are you today? Jay Sparky, welcome in. Welcome in. Leah Williams, hello. How are you? We're planting a few things, Leah and Jay and Reed. And that's the blue spruce, Leah, that I got, you may remember last year, when my half brother passed away. And he had a big blue spruce in his front garden that had always been there for as long as I'd known him. So that is a little miniature blue spruce which I'm going to plant in his memory. And he actually passed away on the 20th of March. So it's sort of fitting that it's going to get planted this week. But I'm sort of trying to make this this garden, if I turn it round, there we can see me. I'm trying to make this garden, instead of a flower bed, to have it as a garden that its interest is in the shape of the leaves and the shape of the plants and the colour of the foliage and things like that. So the plan is that once the garden's fully set up, it will be less maintenance for me. And I mean, I have enough to do with, you know, the hay season and shearing season and hay carting and all those bits and pieces, you know, that they take so much time. And I'm trying not to have to spend so much time doing them. So I'm trying to plant slow growing things. Well, look, Nicholas wants to return to the veranda. So let us at least plant this one, and we'll get it in the ground and we'll water it. So you put a finger either side of your plant, tip it, give it a hit. With any luck, it comes out of the pot. Maybe it doesn't. Yep, there we go. All right. So it's looking good. It's got nice roots, but it's not overly compact. I'm quite happy with that. So we'll give it a little bit of a tickle, loosen the soil up. Okay, so let me move you again so you can actually see what I'm doing a little bit better. Once we've done this one, Nicholas, we shall relocate. Are you able to see me? You can see me, but you can't really see the plant, can you? Everything's an experiment, isn't it? So this is our plant, but I think it needs a bit more soil in the hole. So just going to do a bit of work here. Get a bit more soil in. And then we'll pop it in. It's a beautiful plant though, isn't it? Now I believe it has this colour year round, so I've been told. All right, lovely. It's looking good. And we'll get that in. We're supposed to be getting rain later today, which will be pretty good. I'm happy about that. We do need more rain. We had a lot of rain just a few weeks ago. Oh, Nicholas, you might just have to let it go, my dear. I don't think everyone in the chat, everyone's nice. We're all nice. We're a nice community of people. But the thing is that even nice people have bad days. You know, everyone has bad days, Nicholas. You have bad days, I have bad days, Kathleen has bad days, Dora has bad days. We all have a bad day from time to time. And it may be that you just caught someone on a time when they weren't having the best day themselves. And, you know, I'm really sorry that that impacted you. It probably impacted them as well a lot more. But, you know, I think you just need to sort of accept that maybe that person was just not having the best day, and try and forgive them and move on. I'm sure they didn't mean to upset you. I'm sure they didn't mean to upset anyone. Because I know who it is you were speaking of. And I don't think that's the type of person they are. Forgiveness is the key, Nicholas. But anyway, let us not speak further on that topic, because that's not why we're meant to be here. Oh, your aunt passed away. I'm sorry to hear that, Nicholas. It's never nice. It's never nice when your family and friends move on. You love my positivity. Well, thank you. I mean, look, over the years, I've had a lot of crappy things happen too. I mean, you just do, don't you? Everyone does in life at some point or another. I mean, the amount of stuff that's going wrong in my world at the moment, you know, but I've just got to sort of, I mean, it frustrates me, don't get me wrong. When things happen, I get frustrated, of course I do. It's human nature to sort of get upset by things when they go wrong, or when you get hurt by someone or something like that. But you can't hang on to it forever. And ultimately, the only person it really hurts, if you hang on to things like that, the only person it really hurts is yourself in the end, isn't it? You end up becoming miserable if you dwell on it for too long, whatever it may be. I mean, I was pretty devastated when the solar panel stopped working in November, end of November, early December. I was even more devastated when the ride-on mower broke on Christmas Eve, of all times, when we had bushfires around and we're trying to keep the grass short. The ride-on mower had an issue, and it was bad timing. It really was. But it's never good timing. There's never a good time for something to break down. There's never a good time. A bit like the car, you know. and you sit there and you get frustrated about it and you get angry about it, and then you think, right, okay, I've done that, I've vented, and now I've just got to move on and work my way through it. All right, well, I think that's sort of planted. Oh, now you may wonder, let me pick you up and we'll move you. Ugh. And I better get my glasses too. I think you're right, Susan. She's trying to do better. All right, let's have a look and see what's going on here. Michael's Adventures, hello. We've been planting a few things. Now let me just. All right, we're going over here. I'm going to put my gloves down on this table. So I'll take my gloves off, because before we really sit down, what we do need to do is grab some water to water that plant in. So we'll go and grab some water, water the plant in, and then we'll go and sit down under the veranda. And I can catch up a little bit with the chat. Jay Sparky. It was Jay Sparky who said, I love your positivity. Well, thank you, Jay. I appreciate you saying that. I always worry that when I do say things like that I'm being a bit preachy. And I don't mean to be preachy. I suppose, you know, in my life things have happened, and I have my own lessons that I've learned from various things that have happened. Hang on, let me just move the chat up. Yeah, I mean, everything in life is a lesson. You learn something from everything. Otherwise, what's the point? You know, if I think there's every day you should be able to learn something. Learn some sort of lesson in your life. And I don't mean not the type of learning where you're, oh, they're pretty. Not the type of learning necessarily where you're sitting down in front of a book or a computer. Just although that is lessons as well, of course. But oh, look at all the leaves. That's just from today. I cleaned it out a few hours ago. Let me get the leaves out. I'm not holding you over the barrel too much because I don't want the phone to drop in. All right, we'll get some water. Dunk in our watering can. All right. Ugh. I can hear the chickens. Now, when I first moved up here too, I learned a lot, and I'm still learning. And when I first moved up here, I treated this garden the way I treat a garden in Melbourne. Now, when I was in Melbourne, I had a lot more time too for gardening than I do up here. Up here, there's a lot of time spent doing other things with cows and sheep and chickens and stuff. You got to divide your time over all sorts of things. But I pruned all the plants back in autumn, and then I lost like about a quarter of them. Now in Melbourne, autumn is when you prune everything. It isn't up here because we get snow, and they said to me, don't do it. So it's basically planted in a big hole, so that way the water will stay around the root base. The other thing I was told, apart from don't prune things, because up here in winter we can get snow and it gets very cold, clearly, because we get snow. And of course you prune everything back and the plants would get like almost like freezer burn, you know, from the cold, from the ice, from the snow. And the cold would shock the plants and kill them. It did with many of them. We'll give this blue spruce, even though we're not planting it today, I'll give it a water. Yeah, the cold would shock many of the plants and kill them. So what I was told to do was, when the plants die off, do not prune them, because if you prune them, it leaves the bases of the plants exposed, more exposed to the elements, and they're less likely to survive. So that was my first lesson that I needed to learn. The other thing I was told with weeding, I used to be an avid weeder when I lived in Melbourne. Whereas up here, I was told, well, there's lots of things with weeding. The weeded garden beds. Oh yeah, we get snow, we get heaps of snow. Well, I do anyway, because I'm in the alpine region of Victoria. Australia is really big. I think, it's 3 times the size of Alaska. Is that right? No, I can't remember. I'm going to have to look it up. It's huge anyway, Jay. And we've got tropics, we've got deserts, we've got snow, we've got all sorts of different weather conditions and weather patterns throughout the country. So yeah, we certainly get snow. So I was told, don't prune any of the plants back, because you want the dead extremities of your plants. They're already dead. If you prune them off, then all that cold, all that ice, all that snow is going to be getting onto the newer, nicer parts of the plant. So you let the tips of your plants die off and you leave them like that, because they're already dead. But what they also do is they protect the nice, fresh, green stuff underneath. Yeah, you're getting lots of snow in Massachusetts. Yeah, so you leave everything, and it does mean that your garden looks incredibly scruffy. It doesn't look good at all, you know, because you can't prune anything. Also, with the weeds, I used to weed everything, but living out here in the bush, there's lots of rabbits. We have a Australian animal called a wombat that digs massive burrows, to the point that you could hide a body in them, type massive. They're huge. And what they really, really like is freshly dug soil. So I had the whole front of the house weeded and turned over, and it was beautiful and soft and weed free, and a wombat came in and dug a burrow. So I had to get massive rocks, filled the hole in, so he just dug next to it and dug next to it. And it's like 10 years he's still trying to dig that burrow out. So we sort of almost have a little bit of a no dig philosophy, or at least I do, and that's what I was told by someone who had lived up here for several generations. They said, don't dig. Leave your weeds as they come up. If you don't dig, it means the ground is firmer. But also in winter, if you've still got a layer of weeds on the top of your garden beds, again, it will protect the roots of the plants that are nearby. So that big weeping cherry that's over there, that will have quite a large root system under the ground. Now, obviously, some of that root system will be protected by the weeping cherry itself, but the roots extend out beyond that point a fair way. And the grass and the weeds that I have allowed to grow up to the drip line are protecting those roots. So they help keep them cool, but it also deters rabbits and wombats and foxes, even animals, from scratching around too much. With the plants that I'm planting in that garden bed, I'm just going to clear an area around where I want to plant my new thing. I'll plant it into a furrow, so when I water, it will hold all the water there like a vase. There'll be no runoff. And then I allow the weeds to move up to a point around that plant, and that will help the plant with staying a little bit warmer too in winter, keeping the roots warmer, but it also keeps the ground firmer, so animals are less likely to want to dig around it. So that's what I was told. And I have to say that the parts of the garden where I have done that seems to work better. It doesn't look as visually pretty, but there is method to the madness, let's say. So yeah, and that's the one we just planted, which you're now seeing backwards. Now let me, if I turn that around and I show, yeah, now you can see it. Oh, you can sort of see it. Little China Ruby. So that's it. That's the one we just planted. So there we go. So who is still here with me? I hope you enjoyed seeing at least one plant go into the garden. That blue spruce, I'm looking forward to getting that in. I think that will be a nice sort of memorial plant too. But yeah, so spiky. Like, it's almost like handling a cactus. You need gloves to handle that blue spruce. Have we still got people here? Hello? All right, let's have a look. Done. Wombats, they are cute though. Well, they are. They're very cute. Oh, Kathleen, you're going to bed? I hope you sleep well, Kathleen. Have a wonderful night. Stay warm, stay safe. Oh wow, the cows are running. Why are they running? Good grief. Does that mean we've got visitors? Either we've got visitors or another tree's come down. Let's have a look. We'll go around here. Hopefully we don't have visitors. Oh. Okay. No, they're just getting excited over nothing, really. You can see them running. There's a branch has come down over one of these trees. That came down earlier this morning. It's so windy up here at the moment. Yeah, very windy. You're hoping you don't get any more snow, Jay? Do you get a lot of snow? It will be lovely to see it grow, yeah. Yeah. I mean, clearly it's not going to grow very quickly, but I think it's a wonderful reminder of a wonderful man. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it grow. I think it'll be fantastic. I think it's going to look lovely there, especially when the rest of the garden and the rest of the plants get in. I'm hoping to buy one more plant from the local nursery. I want to get a red weeping maple. I've got a lot of Japanese maples here, but they're the upright variety. So I want to get a red weeping one, and that will go in there as well. And I think then I'll probably have a lot of the bigger pieces in place. Like I said, that the weeping cherry isn't going to get much bigger than what it already is. It's quite a large tree. It's about 15 years old, and it hasn't really grown anymore in the last 8 years. It hasn't put on any more growth in terms of height or diameter. So it's as big as it's going to get. So I think now at this point I'm safe to plant other larger plants around it, because I then only have to worry about how big the new plants are going to get. And I like to get out there with a tape measure. If they say a plant's going to get to 1.5 meters, I might measure to 1.5 meters diameter, I might measure to 2 meters, because there's always the possibility that a plant's going to get bigger than what the label says. So I always like to give them plenty of room, so as they get larger they don't get smothered. You want them to be able to have access to light, to wind, to rain, to all the nutrients, you know. And if you overcrowd them too much, they just don't grow well. And I want them all to grow well, so it's getting there. But the man who's coming to do the veggie garden, well, he's not doing the veggie garden, he's coming to do the fencing for the veggie garden. He's coming in about 2 weeks, he said. I was talking to him, it's Thursday today, I was talking to him on Monday, and he said that he would be about 2 weeks, and when he comes back he's going to do a repair to my fence where the cows are. But he's also, over the back here, we're going to put in a big new veggie garden. I'm going to be putting in raised beds because, quite frankly, I'm getting older and I don't want to bend down to do gardening. If I can avoid doing that, I think that would be much better. Also, again, rabbits, wombats. I'd rather have the plants up high, and I don't mean like a little bit up high, I mean like a good meter off the ground. I want these raised beds to be at least 1 meter high, so they're going to be very tall garden beds, because we're trying to grow enough food to support us for the entire year. So a year's worth of tomatoes, a year's worth of cauliflower, a year's worth of zucchini and potatoes and onions and garlic. We're trying to be self-sufficient, so we need to try and plant for a year's worth of food. When harvest time comes, Some of it you can just put aside, other stuff goes into the freezer, other stuff gets bottled, it gets canned, some of it gets dehydrated. So there's always little ways of preserving your food. Black currants get made into cordials, fruit gets made into chutneys and jams and relishes. Dehydrating is a wonderful thing, but also, if you remember earlier in the video, I was telling you how our fridge had died. Now, if I had everything that I had preserved in that freezer, in our fridge freezer when it died last week, we would have lost, that was an interesting sound, we would have lost all our food. So the trick is to not store, to not preserve all your food in the same way. You freeze some, you dehydrate some, you can some. Variety is the key. And not only does that save you, like if your freezer dies, you've still got something. If for some reason all your dehydrated goods, the shelf breaks and they all smash on the floor, you've still got stuff in the freezer, you've still got stuff canned. So you need to have variety in the way you preserve your foods. And so this new veggie garden that's going to be going in is going to be massive. For my standards, it's going to be massive. The other thing I'm going to be planting, which won't be a raised bed, I'm going to be planting a bed of wheat, because I want to try and make a loaf of bread from flour that I have grown and harvested and made myself. Even if it's just one loaf, I want to try making one truly from scratch, having planted the wheat and gone from there. So that's my plan. And we're 2 weeks into autumn. By the time spring comes, I want that garden to be almost finished. At least some of the garden beds will be ready to have plantings going into them. Next week we're going to be planting seeds, which will be by the end of spring ready to go out into that garden bed. And I'm so looking forward to the progress of that. It's going to be an incredible journey to watch this thing being started from scratch. And it all starts in 2 weeks when we get the fence put up. It's going to be, yeah, I'm very excited about it. I have a lot to be excited about. Things keep going wrong, but I have a lot to be excited about. Sharon Sylvester is still here. Thank you, Sharon. But have you heard the wind? It's getting very, very dark. It's getting very dark. I reckon I'm going to have to call it soon, because I think I'm going to have to get my other tripod in. Look at the clouds. Oh, hang on, you can't. You're looking at me. Let me turn you around. You can probably see it a bit better now that the sun's gone in. There's the view. You hear the magpies. And yes, some dark clouds coming. We've got rain coming. You're back. Thank you. I'm so pleased you're back. But my friends, I think it's time that we say our goodbyes. I'd like to thank you all very much for being here. This is only my fourth It's only my 4th Thursday live. So the whole concept of doing a gardening live is still a bit new to me. When I started doing farm walkabouts on Tuesday, they were a little bit odd as well. I sort of get into my groove, and I haven't got into the groove with this one yet. But we're getting there. Jay, you're off to bed, 12:30 a.m. there. Thank you so much, Jay. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you sleep well. Ah, a Gimli post. Thank you. I think the short is coming on. I've got a new Gimli the Fox short, and I think it uploads in about half an hour or an hour from now. And that's a very cute one. He's sitting there on the porch looking all cutesy, and I'm talking to him, and he just keeps looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about, love? So that one's coming out soon. But yeah, look, I know these gardening lives are still a little bit haphazard and a little bit weird, but we will get into the groove. I've got to work it all out. Just like doing cooking on Saturdays. I've got to work it all out. I'm new to doing lives, newish. But having said all of that, thank you all very much for being here. I hope you all stay safe and stay snug and warm in your homes. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, have a lovely night's sleep. Have a safe and wonderful day tomorrow. Those of you who are in Australia like me, have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful night's sleep as well when you get there. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here. Please give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already. If you're not a subscriber and you think I'm half nice, please, if you want to subscribe, that would be great too. And yeah, trust me, we're going to get into the swing with these gardening lives. It'll get better. I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.